Yo guys, it's JJ here, and today, by the title of the video, I'm going to be making a beat for Lil Durk's new album, coming out tomorrow as of recording, and it's called Loyal Bros 2. So, without further ado, let's just jump into this. First thing you need to know, Durk likes to rap over beats around like the 140 to like even 170 range, and even sometimes a bit below 140. He covers the whole thing, but one thing you need to know is he always needs a piano. So first thing we've got here is an instance of piano V2 using the preset American Large Studio. As you guys can see, this is the pattern I've laid out, and honestly, it's not as complex as it looks, so I'll walk you through it. First of all, I laid down these nice little root notes and just copied and pasted it up a few octaves, as you can see, just to cover a full range of frequencies. That's so it sounds more full. From there, I pretty much went from an A to a 4 and then started filling notes in between. But as you can see, because these notes are literally 2 semitones apart, it creates that tension vibe. Not exactly the same as when they're 1 note apart, but even 2 notes apart help with that nice little atmosphere, that dark emotional feel. Especially that's what Durk goes for. And on top of that, as you can see for the top line, I just have this repeating always throughout the whole thing. Same over here. And it's just about that repetition, keeping it simple, straightforward, and it's really, really effective. Then on top of that, what I did was, as you can see, I just used these notes here I played at a specific interval. But the thing is, every single bar that they play, it shifts over in different notes. So as you will see, it kind of glides down and slowly glides up. And the same thing here. And the last thing I actually did was just click Alt-R. That allowed the velocity to randomize to make it sound even more human, which will really, really help that Durk vibe. So without further ado, this is what the first sound of the melody sounds like. And there you have it. Sounds dope, super simple, but now let me show you the effect. Quite basic, but all I've got is a nice little EQ, and I ducked down a lot of the lows, a lot of the highs, and then some frequencies I wasn't a fan of just got ducked a bit. On top of that, I've just got a very basic reverb, and then you might be wondering, why am I not using RC20? Personally, when I think of like a Durk and Lil Baby vibe, like, unless you're going for some kind of emotional feel, I don't think RC20 is really needed. Sometimes the clean piano itself is just really nice. And then last thing I did was stereo separate this around 33% because it's a wide sound. Next up, we got ourselves an instance of Omnisphere, as you can see, and we're using the preset called Choir Woman Rs-F, and it's from the Human Voices band. As you can see, I've clearly just laid down this nice little top line, and all it does is it essentially follows the root notes, as you can see from here, up to here, and then continuing down here. And then all I did was just play a nice little pattern alongside it that I thought sounded good as like a little top line of its own. And honestly, it came together really, really nice. It just added a bit more of like a dramatic feel, especially because the notes are quite short, so that just makes it sound very like staccato-y, to say the least, like a violin. So last thing I did is click Alt-R to further just randomize the velocities and make it sound even more human. So without further ado, this is what the melody sounds like now. So for the choir, we got ourselves the effect, and first thing I did was just get an EQ, cut off all the lows, a few of the highs, you know, that basic stuff. And on top of that, I added a fair amount of reverb just to widen the sound a bit, create that ambience we all know and love. And then I stereo separated this around 66% because I don't want this to be the forefront of the mix. I want it to be further out, you know, nice sort of tones. And there you have it, sounding pretty dope. Next up, we got ourselves another preset from Omnisphere, of course, and it's from the Palace 808 Mafia Omnisphere Bank, and it's called Key Spirit. As you guys can see, all I did was just play notes that kind of cascaded upwards. It's very, very essential in my opinion to do that. It just adds that really human feel, especially when all the melodies are playing together in the end. So without further ado, this is what the melody sounds like. As for effects for the top line, first of all, we got ourselves a bit of 3D Paramatic, and this is the preset that I kind of made myself. I just wanted the sound to shift a bit left to right, you know, create a bit of movement within the beat, keep things interesting for the listener and artist. Next thing, I got myself a very basic EQ, and I really, really did filter out a lot of the frequencies. Then, of course, some reverb, because we love ambience. It really helps with our Durk sound, especially the keys and the choir going together. It's such a good combo. And then last but not least, I stereo separated this around 73%. Next up, we got ourselves a one-shot sound from the Producer Grind Picturesque kit, and it's called the Sub-C. Yeah, bass one-shot Sub-C. Simple. And all I really did was, again, just follow the root notes, and that's simple as that. Nothing crazy, just doing its thing. So this is what the melody sounds like. And there you have it, sounding super nice. That bass really fills in that low end, and it was really just missing that. So this component, super key. As for effects, all I've really got on this bass is the beefy preset from Decapitator, and that was it. No filters, no frequency, just that. Next up, we got ourselves another preset, and it's from Analog Lab 5 from the bank Artillery, of course, by Max49. And the preset we're using is ARP-Shadow. Really dope ARP, and as you guys can see, I literally just copy and pasted the initial melody from the piano, and that's all I did. Nothing more, nothing less. Fills in a lot of the space, and it really gives it a lot of movement, in my opinion. I really like this ARP. So without further ado, this is what the melody sounds like now. And there you have that. As for effects, I've got myself a basic EQ. Again, a lot of the lows and the highs and a few frequencies. Next up, of course, we've got ourselves some reverb, creating that ambience, helping space out that ARP so it doesn't really clash with all of the other melodies going on. And then I stereo separated to 66% as well. And last but not least, we got ourselves this nice little vocal chop. And if I'm not wrong, I believe it's somewhere from a producer grind kit. I don't know exactly what preset, I don't know exactly what the name of the file is, but a nice little vocal chop, because it really helps with that Durk sound, keys, choirs, vocals, you know, that kind of stuff, strings, even bells. All of that really does a good job. And now, before I play the melody, last thing I did was I rendered all the sounds out and I took it up exactly 327 cents. And now you may be wondering, why that number? Why not exactly 300? Because when you take up 327, it's not exactly in perfect key, and it just gives it a bit more character to the whole feel of the melody / loop. So in case you're just purely focusing on making a loop, this is a nice little bit of advice I'd give. And to end off the melody, all I did was add this nice little perk loop. So without further ado, this is what the full Durk melody sounds like for his new album, Loyal Bros 2. Don't tell me that doesn't sound dope, because that stuff is the heat. Like, it's straight heat. I love it. I know you're rocking with it, so don't tell me otherwise. And now, of course, we gotta move on to the drums. So first of all, we gotta start a very simple clap pattern. Now, of course, let's move on to the drums. And first thing we got is a very simple clap pattern. So as you can see, quite basic. We all know we love it. And this is what it sounds like. And there you have it. I don't think you want to hit a full 8 bar of a clap pattern, so let's move on. Next up, we got ourselves this nice little snare pattern. And as you guys can see, it layers over the clap, of course. But as well as that, I've used it as well as like a little counter snare here, here, and here. So without further ado, this is what like the new clap pattern sounds like. And there you have it. And now next up, we got ourselves the open hat pattern. And as you can see, it's quite basic. It essentially just repeats every 2 bar, and I just copy and paste it over. So without further ado, this is what the drums sound like now. And there you have it. Now for the hi-hats, as you can see, it's kind of a crazy pattern, and honestly, I just made it up. Like, if there was a process to it, honestly, if there was a process to this, I would really break it down, but it's as simple as just feel the melody, see what it needs, see what the drums need. I obviously went to the magnet tool, take it onto quarter step, roll over by clicking the right click and the scroller wheel, and I'll scroll over to the paintbrush tool. And then from there, I'll just do rolls where I feel like they're appropriate. And then all I really did was just play around with the pitch of certain notes, as you can see, and then copy and paste it over to complete a full 8 bar. So without further ado, this is what the drums sound like now. And there you have it. Looking back at it, I'm not gonna lie, a bit too crazy for my liking. However, we live, we learn. Now, last but not least, we got to have the 808 / kick pattern, because I'm gonna tell you now, the kick pattern just follows the 808 pattern, except it's all in the root notes C. But as for the 808, as you can see, it just follows the root notes, of course, because we took it up 3 semitones. And as well as that, I got a nice little few crazy rolls going here at the end, as you can see. And I did these rolls specifically by going on the magnet tool and using 1/3 beats, as you can see. Here, here. This was definitely on 1/6, 1/3 still, 1/3. That's just how I did it. And last thing you need to know is to always max your velocities. How to do that, you may ask? Click Control A, highlight all your notes, use the scroller wheel and scroll to the very max. That makes your 808 and your kick punch even harder, and that's exactly what you want in the trap beat for Durk here. So without further ado, this is what the kick/808 pattern sounds like, or should I just say the full drum pattern. And there you have it. You've made it to the end of the official Loyal Bros 2 tutorial for Lil Durk. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're almost at 600 subs. That's the goal for New Year's. So thanks a lot and take it easy. Peace.